I'm going to be sharing 5 boring retirement tips with you today. If I were retiring tomorrow, here is exactly what I do. As a financial planner who's been working for over a decade and have watched hundreds of families retire, this is what I would follow if I were retiring tomorrow. And nothing's flashy here. There's no pizzazz. It's really actually quite boring and simple. But I think we overcomplicate things. And since there's a lot of videos out there that monger with fear and try to get you to tune in, that's not what this video is about. I'm just going to be sharing 5 boring retirement tips. Comment down below if you are already retired or you're approaching retirement. What has been working well for you, or what do you anticipate will work if you follow those boring tips? I'd love to hear it in the comments down below and for others to learn as well. Number 1, know what you actually spend in retirement. And I know that seems like a no-brainer, but I am often shocked at how many people can't tell me how much they're actually spending per year. And going into retirement, that can be a pretty scary thing. If you don't know what you're spending, it's a little hard to say whether you can retire or you're not quite ready. But once you have that number, it makes it really easy to figure out, okay, I have this much in Social Security and pension or other income sources. What's the gap and what does my portfolio have to fill? And then you can figure out how to fill that gap. Number 2, and this one is crucial, set up some sort of automatic withdrawal to recreate that paycheck feel. I often suggest monthly for folks because I think that works the easiest. But if it's quarterly, semi-annually, annually, you can pick what works best for you. I just find a lot of people are paid twice a month or once a month. So switching to once a month is a fairly simple and seamless process because a lot of times bills are also paid monthly. Along with this, don't be afraid to spend more than 4% in early retirement. I think a lot of people are familiar with the 4% rule, and that can be a good guideline to follow, but for a lot of people that I meet, they have the ability to spend more in early retirement. Number 3, keep it simple and have an investment strategy. You don't need 10 different accounts at 5 different custodians and trying to diversify as much as possible and having your money everywhere. Diversification is important, but I think a lot of people could do with one custodian and consolidate it down to as few accounts as possible. You don't need 4 different IRAs or 401ks out there. Those can be simplified. I'm not saying that's always the best decision, particularly if it's an early retirement and they have different access rules and withdrawal penalties, but generally we can simplify and consolidate those. And it makes it really easy if something happens to you for your heirs to pick up the pieces as well. When it comes to an investment strategy, more than anything, have one. I often meet with folks who don't have an investment strategy, and oftentimes that makes it really easy to chase things and not be able to ignore the noise when something new comes about or something does better. If you have it clearly documented what your investment strategy is, it's really easy to make choices going forward. Number 4, have your estate plan in order. And I cannot stress this one enough. If you've made it this far and you don't have an estate plan, go change that. Please change that today. Stop watching this video and go do that. An estate plan is so important. These are things like your wills or trusts, DPOAs for finances, DPOA for medical, advanced directives. Although it seems really simple and that these are just pieces of paper, without them, you're not enabling yourself or your heirs to get the assets that they need or make decisions on your behalf if you're unable to make those. And I've seen families scramble last minute to get these in order, and it's never a good process. Sometimes it gets done in time, sometimes it doesn't. And it causes a lot more in attorney fees and trying to fix that mess than what it would have cost to just do it properly in the first place. So if you have a gift of time and it's still early, go complete that estate plan today. Make sure everything's in order. Review your account tiling and your beneficiaries. You can prevent a lot of heartache and mistakes that the next generation may go through if you get this right. Number 5, make a plan for taxes. Now, you can just ignore it and say, hey, I'm willing to accept whatever tax payment I pay, but generally I find most people don't want to overpay their taxes, which if you're not planning for taxes is generally what happens. There are strategies like the 0% long-term capital gains bracket where you can recognize capital gains and pay nothing in federal taxes. You can also do things like Roth conversions if you're charitably inclined, things like qualified charitable distributions, bunching donations with donor advised funds, or even just outright giving stock. There's lots of things that you can do to reduce your tax burden, but it does require making a plan and modeling out what does your tax situation look like over your lifetime, and bonus points if you're starting to plan for heirs as well. Maybe you want to optimize taxes for them, so over your 2 lives, less money is going to the government. And I'm not going to formally call this tip number 6, but maybe a bonus idea here is know what you're retiring to. We've talked a little bit about the financial and more technical side of things, but more importantly, what are you actually going to do in retirement? And maybe it takes some time to figure that out, and that's okay. But more importantly, you need to have some sort of plan in what it is that you want to do. Maybe that's rediscovering new hobbies, it's volunteering, maybe it's part-time work in a different career. Whatever it is, I think that's really important because a lot of people can feel emotionally lost, particularly in that first year where it's uncomfortable. Your day is planned for you while you're working, and then anything can happen. So it's really important to have that plan. If you do these 5 things, you're probably going to have a pretty great retirement. As I mentioned, it's pretty boring. There's not a lot of pizzazz, but it does work. Thanks for listening.